How to create a realistic toolbox from a regular cube. First, I create a new scene. Create a cube. I really like these rounded shapes of my reference, so I'm gonna follow them. Alright, now I'm happy with the overall shape. I press Ctrl R to cut it in half, and then Ctrl Shift R to create two more on the sides. Press E and choose Extrude along the normals. I selected half of the object to separate these two parts. I just pressed B and chose selection. Now I'm gonna add thickness. Now I'm gonna create a bevel around the object. So to diversify the shapes, make it more interesting. Now I'm gonna make some adjustment of overall proportion. And here I have decided to delete the upper part of the toolbox. And I came up with a great lead to my toolbox. And just make a few adjustments. So now I'm gonna create some adjustments. First, I want to make a bevel like that. And in addition, I want to cut it in half to make a groove. So I extruded and all along the normals like that. I pressed I to make insert, and by holding Control, I made a depression like that. And I cut it again vertically. And to select similar pattern, I pressed Ctrl G and selected perimeter. So after I made these depressions, I'm gonna mark them as sharp. And also mark some another edge as sharp. Add another bevel. And mark the rest edges as sharp. Okay, I'm happy with what I've done. So here I'm gonna select the similar pattern by pressing Ctrl G and selecting perimeter. Now I can control all of them together like that. I'm extruding it along the normals and a bit scaling it. And here's another bevel for depth. And now I'm making an insert on the top of a lid. And now I'm extruding it and making a bevel for depth. And here I realized that I totally forgot to mark some edges sharp. So now I gotta do this. And here I'm gonna do another extrude on the lead edge, like that. Now I'm gonna create two bolts by inserting the faces. Now I'm gonna mark them as sharp to get the result like that. And now I gotta extrude a handle from a vertex. Add marked clipping. Now I'm extruding vertices to create a surface. Also, I use Solidify to add thickness. Here I'm just making a few adjustments. Making bevel. And correct overall proportions. I'm selecting these faces to mark them as sharp. Now I'm gonna create something like an outlet. I'm gonna extrude this part. Creating a bevel. Okay, after I subdivide it, I gonna a little bit like a circle, and here I gonna extrude it like that, and making a bevel as well. The next step is to create a cylinder as the ending of my wire. So I gonna rotate it like that, and a bit extruded to the center. And also don't forget to create a bevel. Next, I'm gonna create a curve to turn it into a wire. So I'm gonna show it how to do it. The first step, I have to align this perfectly. So I try to find a position and I use magnific tool to magnet it to the surface. Here in the preferences, I'm gonna create a depth. So now it's look more like a tube. So I'm gonna put some adjustments here and also rotate the ending like that. Okay, it looks like I find a position. Yeah, now it's look like a perfect wire. And now just a few finishing steps. I'm gonna make some adjustments here and here. Okay. Okay, after finishing with the shapes, I'm gonna create a material using smart masks. Um, I'm creating a mix shader and put it to the base color. So I'm gonna use the two colors. I'm gonna use gradient texture node and color ramp node and connect them sequentially. I use node wrangler to create mapping and coordinate in one click. Since I decided to use two colors, I'm gonna split it in half, and also I have to rotate it. I'm gonna use the upper part of the mask for white color and the lower one for the black. And now I have to rotate it again. Adjusting the location. And switching into cycles. Creating geometry node and color ramp. By the holding shift and control and left click, you can switch the inserts like that. I connect position to the factor like that. At that time, I didn't know that I haven't switched the render engine to cycles. I wanted to emphasize the results by making gamma node. Here I realized that and switch the render engine to cycles. Adjusting color ramp again. Creating a new mix shader and switch it to multiple mode. Creating noise texture and connect multiple node. Connect noise texture to value. Adjusting the noise texture. And I'm creating the two new nodes, bevel and geometry. And one more, the vector math. I'm gonna switch the mode to dot product. I'm creating map branch and connecting bevel to the surface. And here I'm gonna connect geometry's normal output to the dot product's input, just like that. and connect that product to the surface. Now I'm gonna connect dot project's value to map branch value. Just like that. Now I'm gonna change the max and min values between each other and adjusting from mean to get distinct edges like these and create another map branch. Add noise texture as well. Connect the factor to the value and the map branch to the bevel. Add some roughness. And also I wanted to adjust another settings. Now I'm gonna create ambient occlusion. It'll take me to create another color ramp. And also noise texture for variety. So I connect the factor to the color and the ambient occlusion to the colors ramp factor. So I switch the color ramps colors between each other. And I got this result. Next, I create mix shader and switch it to the color mode and also duplicate it. Connect color to vector and do it again. I think we've done for now. It's totally enough.